Well, today is a big day in Ottawa. It's the federal budget day, otherwise known in Ottawa after 8 years of Justin Trudeau as the how much more money is Justin Trudeau going to spend to bankrupt Canada's future day. So I want to break down the budget for you, and how I'm going to do that is by starting with a quote from Justin Trudeau's finance minister, Chrystia Freeland, who in the middle of her budget speech, the whole budget speech was focused around this one question. And she kept awkwardly asking the House of Commons, what kind of Canada do you want to live in? And for me, listening to that, it was just like the audacity of that question, because we all know that after 8 years of Justin Trudeau, life is way more unaffordable, it's way more unsafe, and it's way more filled with anxiety for virtually every Canadian in every region of the country, of any political stripe and any background. So the audacity of Justin Trudeau's finance minister to start the budget with, what kind of Canada do you want to live in? I think the answer that everybody had, except for the NDP who propped the Liberals up, was one where Justin Trudeau is not the Prime Minister of Canada. But I digress. As I break down the budget for you, I want you to click on the link that's in the comments. It's a link to an article I wrote a couple of weeks ago ahead of the federal budget, because Justin Trudeau had started announcing things around the federal budget. I doubt these things have been covered in the mainstream media, and we know that there's news bans in Canada. So if you click on the link that's in the comments and you click subscribe, it allows me to directly communicate with you and get around Justin Trudeau's censorship bills like C-18 and C-11. So that's really important. It's one easy way that you can help me fight back against Justin Trudeau's crazy agenda. But let's get into it. But click subscribe on that link. So the budget, here it is, guys. This was delivered to my desk in the House of Commons. Here's the long and the short of it. So after weeks of top economists in Canada, business leaders, Canadians begging the Prime Minister to get Canada's budget in order, to fix the budget because of Canada's lagging productivity and because of the potential for more inflationary spending to actually increase interest rates in Canada at a time when nobody can afford that, everybody was saying, look, you've got to fix the budget, Trudeau. You've got to show some restraint. Here is the kicker. Are you ready for it? Do you want to know how much he actually spent? Drum roll. He added another $40 billion in this year alone to Canada's federal debt. So that is the news breaking out of Ottawa, that instead of getting Canada's finances under control, instead of fixing the budget, he's added another $40 billion to Canada's debt. And here's the other audacity. Are you guys ready for it? So this glossy, I'm going to slow motion put this up so you can see it. Do you want to know what they called their tagline was for the budget this year? You ready? Fairness for every generation. So he is adding $40 billion to Canada's debt, which is not going to, it's going to make inflation worse. So that increases the cost of everything for every generation in Canada. It also makes life more unaffordable for Canadians that aren't even born yet, right? Because now Canadians are going to be paying interest on this debt for what, forever? If it was under him, I know that Conservatives have a plan to fix the budget. He's actually made life unfair for every generation in Canada. And it's just this sort of like he actually thinks that you're stupid enough to fall for this. And we all know like he's going to try, and he's been trying over the last couple of weeks. And again, this is so important that you click on the link that's in the comments and click subscribe, because I break this down for you in detail. Over the last couple of weeks, he's been trying to convince Canadians that by spending more money, he can fix the problems that he created by spending money and not delivering in the past. We all know that when Justin Trudeau spends money, it goes to things like what? Like the Arrive scam, like to his cronies. He's had so many scandals. So he has no trust. He actually has a trust deficit. So he has a trust deficit with you. He's asking you what kind of Canada you want to live in. And then he's adding another $40 billion to the debt, which is going to make life more unaffordable. Okay? So that's a big, big thing for you all to understand for today's federal budget. This is a bad news budget. It includes another $40 billion in this year alone. And actually, there's more in years to come, right? A lot more in years to come, adding more debt to the federal budget. So it's a big problem. Here's a big stat. And if you can like and share this video, if you can also share this video to help me get this word out, because We all know that this isn't the sort of thing that's necessarily going to be top line on Canada's mainstream media. It really helps me when you do share this video. It's an easy thing you can do to be part of the political process and help us fight back. It's just getting this information out. So share this video. But here's another stat you need to know about Justin Trudeau's disaster budget today. Over the next 6 years, do you want to know how much Canadians are going to be spending on interest on the debt that Justin Trudeau has created? Like, and I need you to sit down before I read this number and really think about, it's such a big number. It's hard for us to wrap our brain around. But like, I think about it in terms of like what this could mean for like building affordable homes or hospitals or school. So in the next 6 years, just on the interest for his debt, not on any like new spending for initiatives. Do you know how much Justin Trudeau is going to spend just on paying the interest on our debt, the interest on the credit card? I just need you to like, okay, $338.4 billion, close to $500 billion just on credit card payments. So I know it's hard for us sometimes to like, that number is so big. It's hard for us to wrap our brain around that, right? Because it's just like, it's like trying to conceptualize infinity. But when you think about like the cost of a hospital, or if you're watching and you're like a nurse, what that could mean for like hiring more healthcare workers, or, you know, just anything, or even paying down the debt that we already have. Like, think about that. He is bankrupting all of us. It doesn't matter what age you are and you're watching this. It doesn't matter if you're a senior or if you're 18 years old. At the end of the day, spending that amount of money on servicing debt and then adding another $40 billion to that debt. Oh man, I knew it was going to be bad today, but like a lot of the media in the last couple of weeks, even the media in Ottawa was saying he's got to get the debt under control. He's got to get the deficit under control. He can't just keep adding to the debt. In fact, yesterday, the former Bank of Canada governor came out and said he expected this budget to be the worst ever. But then other political analysts were saying, no, he's got to get this right because he's running out of time and we're almost into an election cycle. And guys, I hoped I was going to be wrong. I was like, okay, maybe he'll get something together. This budget, it's a massive credit card bill that puts us way further into debt, that is going to cost us another close to $500 billion just on credit card payments. And for what? So again, going back to the start of the video, I said Chrystia Freeland had the audacity, this is Justin Trudeau's finance minister, when she was presenting this budget, to sort of go on this very almost chastising, like it was like she was chastising the House of Commons. What kind of Canada do you want to live in? Well, like, I'm not like, how many of you like have been in a situation where you've known someone who just like and sometimes this happens because, you know, people have fallen on hard times. I get that. But like, if somebody's in a lot of debt, you know, usually people will say like, okay, we need to make some life changes here. There needs to be some changes so that like these credit card payments can get under control. We need to have a plan so that people aren't falling into bankruptcy, even though I know a lot of Canadians are falling into bankruptcy because of the cost of living due to stuff like this. But what happens in those situations is that a lot of people will adjust course. They'll be like, okay, I'm going to make changes to my life. What Justin Trudeau here is he's so out of touch. He's so out of touch that he's adding another $40 billion to Canada's debt this year. Guys, oh, it's so bad. And the worst part of it, I'm talking all about the Liberals, and I know so many of you are like, okay, we need a vote of non-confidence, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, we just had a vote of non-confidence. The Conservatives moved a vote of non-confidence in the government on the carbon tax, which, by the way, he doesn't repeal in here. But guess what happens in those situations? Guess what happens? You all know it. Bonus prize to the first person who gets it right. The NDP prop them up, right? In fact, it's the NDP that asked them to spend more money on, like, add more money to Canada's debt when we know that they're not delivering. It's this unholy partnership, right? Where there's no daylight between the two parties. It's a leftist coalition that's driving us into debt, into just poverty as a nation, into anxiety, into unsafe living conditions. And that's just so, so wrong. So all of this big gobbledygook that Chrystia Freeland put out while saying, what kind of Canada do you want to live in? I want to live in a Canada where we've axed taxes, where we don't have a carbon tax that doesn't work, that is making life more unaffordable, right? I want to live in a Canada where we stop the crime. It's so unsafe on so many Canadian streets. And I want to live in a Canada where we have built homes. There's so many people who can't afford any place to live. And I also want to live in a Canada where we fixed our budget so that there actually is fairness for every generation. Can you believe that he put this on this budget? Just the audacity of it. He thinks you're dumb enough to fall for that. It's crazy. And that's not going to happen under Justin Trudeau Prime Minister. So Chrystia Freeland, I would love to live in a Canada where you are nowhere near Canada's finances. Girl, you have no idea what you're doing. It's so sad. You need to go. And I'd love to live in a Canada where Justin Trudeau is not Prime Minister. So what happens next with this big pile of garbage? Well, this will be debated in the House of Commons. Of course, Conservatives will be opposing this. We did list demands for the federal government ahead of the budget. We said we are not supporting a budget that does not axe the tax, that does not get the budget under control, and it did neither of those things. So we will be massively opposing this budget. You can rest assured of that. But you know, if the NDP coalition, like if they continue to just prop up Justin Trudeau, like it will pass, and that's so disgusting. We need to go to an election. Canadians need to have a say. We need to get the budget under control. So again, what can you do to help me as we get it, as Conservatives start fighting this? Number one, share this video so people understand what's happening. It's a big, when you share this video, it helps me so much. Number two, the link that's in the comment section, it's to my Substack. It breaks down some of the announcements from the last couple of weeks, why it's kind of bunk, the politics leading into the budget. Click subscribe on that, because then I can directly communicate with you with updates around our fight around the budget. And again, just stay tuned to this channel for more updates. Rest assured, every Conservative member is working hard to axe the tax, build more homes, stop the crime, and fix Canada's budget. Working hard for you in Ottawa on a very sad day. What kind of Canada do you want? Have a great day.